Detroit City FC traveled down to Birmingham today to take on the Birmingham Legion down at Protective Stadium. Detroit has been undefeated in their last three outings in the USL Championship. However, they have drawn twice. Will it be the same result as the last couple times? Steve has all the highlights for you from the clubhouse.
Steve Polysevic here. Post-match here at the Detroit City Clubhouse. It was a really good, small but mighty, and you could get that correct, vocal crowd for the game tonight against Birmingham. The first half was, alright, I'll admit it, it was okay. Nothing filling out process. There was some good opportunity. Detroit almost gave up a goal. Carlo Terrell was out of position, but it went wide right. So lucky there. There was plenty of chances, but nothing really interesting. And then in the 46th minute, Alec Villanueva scored his first goal of the year. And that goal was really tight. He passed it in the right near the right post, in the right side near the Birmingham goaltender. I have my notes. I have my notes passed by Matt Van Dekel to make it a 1-0 game. They had plenty of opportunity to try to make a 2-0 game, but Detroit tried to push it, and it was not to be. It was okay until the 82nd minute where Poloni Kovac scored on a set piece to make it a 1-1 draw. Both teams were pushing very hard. There was various yellow. Enzo Martinez got a yellow. Jake Chapman a yellow. One player. It was even. The game was pretty much even. But the accurate passing was even, so the shots were even, but this killed them. 6 shots for Detroit City FC. One of them on target. And double whistles and good night, Irie. That was all she wrote. This is their third draw in a row in league play, not counting the U.S. Open Cup or the Jägermeister Cup. And they're unbeaten in 6 games, and we didn't lose points, but that would have been big. We're now tied with North Carolina FC with 17 points in 4th place. They haven't played each other yet. 2 points behind Louisville City with 19 points. They incidentally drew against the Hartford Athletic. Surprise, surprise. The new leader is Charlottesville Battery FC. I keep confusing Charlottesville and Charlotte. The Charlottesville Battery, they blasted the San Antonio FC 470 with 2 goals from Cal Jennings, who now leads the Golden Boot rate with 9 goals, 5 of them on the spot. Loudon lost to Miami FC. The only goal was from Abdel Fattah Abdukura. He scored his 8th goal, so he's second. Darren Pip didn't score in the last 2 games. He's at 7. And William Kamara Jr. at 7. He didn't score on Friday night either. So, oh my, it's getting tight. Next week game, it's going to be a top 4 game. Charlottesville Battery, Detroit City FC, that will be it. Wait a minute, hold on. Charlottesville, Detroit City FC, big top 4 matchup. Did I mention 2 players? Oh yes, next week it will be the War Stars. Cal Jennings versus Darren Smith. Oh, it's going to be a great blockbuster. Can't wait. Back to you, Matt Campbell. See you next week.
Thank you, Steve, and happy to hear that there was a nice turnout. And yes, indeed, there will be a War of Stars next week as 2 of the top Golden Boot contenders will be going at it at Keyword Stadium. Not to mention, as well, it's first game of doubleheader as Detroit City FC's women take to the pitch at 7 o'clock, taking on Union FC Macomb. You can get tickets for it at the usual spots, SeatGeek.com, or at the Detroit City store down in Capitol Park up until Friday, where you can possibly pick up maybe some discounted tickets as well. So looking forward to that, and looking forward to seeing you on Saturday. There was one other game in the USL Championship today, and that took place and just got finished, as a matter of fact. FC Tulsa comes away with a 2-0 victory over Lexington SC down in Lexington. Taylor Calhera got things going for Tulsa in the 41st minute on a penalty kick to give Tulsa the 1-0 lead. And then Lamar Batista finished things off in the 5th minute of stoppage time, making it a 2-0 victory for FC Tulsa. So that rounds out the weekend in the USL Championship. So now we're at the point now it's like we've got 10 games in, and I'm going to give you a little appetizer. Steve and I are going to break that down coming up within the next week as far as the 10 game shall we say the 10 game marker, because we decided we're going to do this in 10s. We're at game 10 now, and today was game 10. Detroit right now is sitting at 4-5-1 on the year. The only loss coming in Louisville against Lou City, but not, nonetheless, I mean, like I said, it's still pretty much been a decent start for the season. Not a great start compared to last year, though. We'll go back to last year. In fact, let's see here. Going back to matches for Detroit City FC real quick here. I'll turn back the table a long time ago. Oh, where was that 10th match? Where would our 10th match be back then? So, yeah. But, comparing where we were sitting, in fact, when we started the season, we come out like gangbusters, 5 straight wins. Then suffered the first loss in Pittsburgh, 2-0 to the Riverhounds. Followed that up with a 0-0 draw at Loudoun United. Then a 1-1 draw at Keyworth to Phoenix Rising. A 3-0 or a 5-1 loss down in Louisville to Lou City. So at that point of the year, let's take a look back then. Let's see, 10th game of the year. They're showing the table from this year. Okay, never mind that. Never mind that. But the 10th game of the year last year. So where we were sitting last year, we already won 5 games heading into Pittsburgh. And then after that point, we had lost to Pittsburgh, drawn at Loudoun, drawn at Phoenix, lost to Lou City, and then lost to Orange County. So at that point last year, we were sitting with a record of 5-3 or 5, I believe it, 5-2-3 at that point. And we were on a streak where, at that point, we were on a streak where Detroit City was winless in 5 straight games. Right now, we're in a little bit of a better stretch right now for Detroit City SC as far as everything goes there. Right now, sans the defeat to the Chicago Fire in the Open Cup, Detroit has been has not lost since that game in Louisville on March 28th. So a consecutive streak right now is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games. They're on an 8-game unbeaten streak. So a little bit of a difference from last year as far as that goes, where we were on the winless streak last year going into the summer as far as getting into the getting into the summer last year where we were on a winless streak. That ended in that ended with the victory against Rhode Island F. Yeah, that ended with the victory in Rhode Island against Rhode Island FC, and then the following week Detroit City would come back and defeat the Charleston Battery to start another win streak to make their way to the playoffs. Now, sitting right now in 5th place, 4th place, 5th place, how the table is going to be when that gets sorted out there. But FOTMOB has them in 4th right now, but they're tied with North Carolina FC. They're part of the pack right now that is separating themselves from the rest of the Eastern Conference, shall we say. So they've separated themselves. How that's going to translate coming down the road, we'll see what happens in the next 10 games. But right now, North Carolina, Loudoun, Charleston, and Lou City have pretty much separated themselves from the rest of the pack in the Eastern Conference. Now, where that's going to transcend, if it's going to be a top 5 battle for a battle of 5 teams for the top 4 spots, that remains to be seen. But we shall see what transpires. Like I said, Steve and I will break this down coming up later on this week as far as that goes. But for right now, for Detroit City FC, it's it's good to see that the record, you look at the record, it's kind of like Rhode Island-ish last year. Remember, Rhode Island had all those ties going in, and the next thing you know, they came, was it saving themselves for the playoffs? Because they went on an incredible run to finish out the year, and thus ended up becoming Eastern Conference champions. That we shall remain to be seen. But, nonetheless, now, eight straight games in which Detroit City has not lost, and you go back. Yeah, you go back now to March 29th is the last loss for Detroit City. So they haven't lost a game pretty much in 2 months. So you got that going for you. Shall we say a draw is pretty much disappointing? Yeah, it is disappointing, considering you had the lead going into, coming out of the break. You lead in the 46th minute of play, but then it had it taken away thanks to a set piece in the 83rd minute. So, needless to say, yeah, again, or 82nd minute. Excuse me on there, but again, you had points taken away from you, and that's been a problem too with Detroit City as of late. This one was on a set piece. The last time they dropped points was in Indy, and that was because of bad timing as far as the defense goes. And a giveaway in the box. You can't do that, and that's how they ended up giving up the first goal to Elvis Amo. The second goal was just another bad giveaway in the midfield. So a lot of questions got to be answered as far as that goes. When you're looking at the the scheme of the game or the tactics of the game there, how Detroit City is sitting defensively. They were frustrating them for a good portion of that second half. Dictating the play, trying to dictating the play. I'm looking at the stats again here. The fouls committed, 13 fouls for Detroit City FC. That was basically trying to slow that play down, trying to not give Birmingham a chance to, shall we say, gain momentum. Obviously, the momentum happened in the momentum finally got to fruition in the 82nd minute of play there. But nonetheless, it's disappointing. Like I said, disappointing that you drop points yet again. And going into the meat of the going into the meat of the schedule now, you got to it's you're going into you got Charleston next week. Then you travel to Portland for your Jägermeister Cup game. But then after that, Pittsburgh Riverhounds on the road, Loudoun on the road. Miami FC, you got them at home. Miami FC is starting to come on a little bit. They just beat Loudoun last night, so they're starting to get things together. They may end up stealing some points away, and then after you play Hartford in the Jägermeister Cup. Oakland's been struggling as of late. You got the return match on the 12th against Hartford Athletic at Keyworth Stadium. And then you're going to finally get some home games in there. 3 straight, as a matter of fact, including that Jägermeister Cup game against Westchester SC. So it's going to be, look at the next 10. Let's just look at the next 10 here. So you got Charleston Battery coming up. That's a 4 o'clock game. That's a top 5 battle right there. You got Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Pittsburgh's been hovering around that 8 spot there, but they're always a tough out, especially at Highmark Stadium. You got Loudoun United. What Loudoun team's going to show up? Is it going to be the team that showed up against Miami, or is it going to be the team that's been, shall we say, quelling the reports? Let's just put it that way. If you haven't read the Athletic article about that, I suggest you do so. Then you got, obviously, I mentioned Miami FC. That could be a surprise game there. You handled them nicely down in Miami to open things up. Little different Miami team right now. They're riding a good wave right now. And then you got as I mentioned, not counting the Jaeger games. So you got Oakland Roots. Oakland Roots has been mightily struggling. You're going to the Coliseum, you can steal 3 points there. If you don't steal 3 points there, I don't know what to tell you there. Then you got the return. Then you got Hartford Athletic, the return match at Keyworth on the 12th. So what have I listed there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pittsburgh comes in on July 19th for 7 o'clock kickoff there. Let's see here. I don't know if that game got moved. Somebody told me that game got moved, but we'll double check that. And then Rhode Island, August 9th. So that's, I'm just looking here. So we're at 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Rhode Island be 8. And then the return match with Indy 11 on August 9th. And then the Friday night matchup between North Carolina and Detroit City FC, which is going to be the first match between both those squads this year, because they don't play them again until October 4th back. That'll be the first match between those two teams there. So your 10th game in that stretch. So there's a lot of opportunities for points. There's a lot of opportunities to, where things could get a little bit haywire there. Then it looks like the schedule, the schedule is, it looks like it was going to get harder, but after that, you got Tampa Bay, who's been how do I say it? Struggling. You can't really say that about the Tampa. I mean, you couldn't say that about the Tampa Bay. They've been going through all kinds of problems this year. So Tampa Bay has been Tampa Bay could be an easy 3 points, and then we got them at Keyworth on August 23rd. San Antonio SC, they've been Jekyll and Hyde as of late, but but at least we got them at home, so we could, and they got, that could be a tough game. Could be a win at home. Let's just put it that way. Orange County SC wins at home, as you know, not guaranteed sometimes. Knowing the track record and the history. let's see here. New Mexico, another strong team from the Western Conference, comes in on September 10th. And then, but we'll get into that last 10 once we get into that last 10, obviously. And, that last 10, I mean, it's got some big names on there. You got Lou City coming to, but the best thing about that last 10 for Detroit City FC, other than you have 7 home games in the last 10. The last 3, or you got New Mexico on the road. You got Charleston on the road. You got Tampa Bay on the road. Get through this middle stretch. The last year, the middle stretch was hard for Detroit City FC. This time around, it's going to be a little bit different. Not a lot of home games to take. Not a lot of home games in this stretch until you get into July. But you look at that second half of the schedule coming up, and it's very home heavy for Detroit City FC. So there's going to be a lot of opportunities to gain some points at home, and that's something that they might end up relying on. Is that 12th man being the Northern Guard and the rest of the Detroit City supporters to help them push them over that edge there. Nice. The thing is, though, the last 3 times, or going over that last 4 games, coming out of it, or the last 3 games, Open Cup not even included, coming out with 3 points in the last 3 games, for most teams, that's pretty damn good. And, you can be accepting of that. However, though, the way you lose those points, though, in 2 of those matches has it a little bit concerning. So, and Detroit's got to clean that up pretty quick, if you ask me. So, going back to last night, I was in Ann Arbor, as you know, for the for the opener for the women's side. I got to talk with Dave Dwahey. You can catch that interview on the after hours from last night on the YouTube channel as well. Good interview there with Dave Dwahey. Always a pleasure to talk to him, and we thank him again once again for everything he's doing for this squad and everything he's done for us. He's always a great interviewer. Love talking with him. So hope to talk to him again next week as they take on the Union FC Macomb at Keyworth Stadium. So looking forward to that as well. But nonetheless, it's like I said, back to the drawing board. War Stars next week at Keyworth Stadium between 2 of the top dogs in the Eastern Conference, 2 of the top 4 teams in the Eastern Conference. That takes place at 4:00. The women's match, the home opener, takes place immediately following that. That's at 7:00. So looking forward to all that. Until we meet again, folks, keep your feet on the ground, keep reaching.